All right, good morning, Nigeria and the world and beyond. Welcome to the big story on Daybreak Live, right here on Dominion Television, where we spotlight the stories behind the headlines and the heart behind the hustle. Today's edition is one that strikes a chord, literally and spiritually. We are diving into a world where the pulpit meets performance and the sacred call of ministry dances with the rhythm of music. It's from the altar to the stage, balancing ministry and music. All right, this is the big story, and I'm Samson Balogun. In today's fast-changing world, many gifted individuals are finding themselves torn between two callings: the spiritual duty to lead souls and the creative passion to sing to them. But how does one maintain the sanctity of ministry while navigating the commercial demands of the music industry? Is it possible to honor God and still thrive on the global stages? These are questions we'll answer today. Now, on the big story today, we'll unpack the tension, testimonies, and triumphs of gospel artists who are both ministers and musicians, and hear from voices who live this dual reality. Good morning once again. I won't be doing this alone today. I have with me in the studio Mrs. Elizabeth Oluwatoyeshola, who is a wife, a mother, an entrepreneur, and a gospel artist. And I must tell you, she's a deaconess too. And she has HND in marketing, and of course, in quest for further knowledge and professionalism, she passed the final examination in the National Institute of Marketing Nigeria, where she bagged the associate certification of the institute. Now, good morning to you, Mrs. Elizabeth Oluwatoye. Good to have you in the studio.
Thank you. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so people tend to ask these questions so many times, and I'm going to echo their sentiment on this show. How did you can take us back on how you started this journey of gospel music?
Thank you. Yeah, it started way back since my primary school days, because I could remember then, our parents used to allow us to go for choir rehearsals. So as far back as when I was in, maybe like, let's say from 7 years old. So we used to go for choir rehearsals in the church. So it all started in the church. So, and when you go for choir rehearsals, that is where the talent was actually discovered. When we are singing, they try to look at, and the difference, in the way you sing and others, started showing. And a lot of times, when there are times for us to sing, maybe to present songs, I was always given the opportunity to lead. Even in school, when we have cultural dances, all those things, I was given the opportunity to lead. So that was how it started. So, and ever since then, up till now, up till now. So that was how it started from way back then, and up till now, God has been helping me. So I want to thank him for that gift and for the church, which was a platform for, for the discovery of that gift too. And for my parents for allowing me also, if there was no opportunity to go for those choir rehearsals, maybe the gifts wouldn't have been discovered early. So I want to thank God for that.
So who or what inspired you to press further in the music career?
Well, I would say it is what I love doing. Whatever you love doing flows, freely and easily. So I discovered that over the years, music is just part of my life. Even when I don't feel like doing any other thing, music just flows, easily. So that was what really made me to, to toe that path, to keep pressing and be persistent on it.
So when did you realize that this is not just talent, it's a calling?
Sometimes when you sing and people tell you that they are blessed by your song, when there is any opportunity for you, and when people see you, they say, no, that was a good performance, that was a good singing, and it's recurring every time. And apart from that, in your inner spirit, within you that this is just beyond, just a passion or whatever. This is tolling towards a calling. So those are the things.
Okay, now basically, your music What is the central message you try to pass across to people through your sound?
The message cuts across all aspects of life: hope, salvation, encouragement, trying to tell people that things will work. Hope, restoration, salvation, faith. It cuts across every aspect of life of an individual. And also worship and praise to God. The link between man and God. The easy access to God by worshiping Him. Bringing down His presence into your life. So those are the areas in which I try to, pass the message across through music.
So how do you find inspiration to create more sounds?
It's spiritual. Most of the time, I get my inspiration from my quiet moments with God. When I pray, when I worship, and even sometimes when I fast, a moment of separation, when I separate myself, the inspiration comes from God, because God is the one, is the author of everything anyway. Is the one that gives us, the gift. Is the one that shows us the way to go about it. So the inspiration mostly comes from God, and sometimes even from my environment, even sometimes from things that are happening. Sometimes I can just sit down and, thinking, and some songs will just drop that way. Or sometimes things might just be happening and songs will just drop. So that's the way I get my inspiration.
So when you have administration, how do you prepare? What do you do in preparation of administration?
Preparation is both ways, both physically and spiritually, because the two will have to work together. So spiritually, I depend solely on God, because there's nothing I can do without Him. So I talk to Him in prayer, to receive direction, to receive more knowledge and understanding on what to do concerning the administration. And apart from that, I also prepare physically. You have to, when you are praying for administration, you have to train your voice. You have to make sure that you are in the right, voice texture for you to perform very well. So those are the things I do.
Has there been a time you wrote a song and you felt like, I don't think this will be too good, and then you had to put aside, try something different?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, there are sometimes that you put a song and, well, maybe you think that song is not, maybe the way you wrote it, maybe it's not really carrying the message you wanted to, to pass across. Sometimes you have to sit down and redo the song so that it can be appropriate for the reason you want the song out.
Okay. Are there times when you have encountered challenges in trying to prepare a material?
Yeah. Sometimes little challenges, maybe when you are trying to do a song and maybe you have done your own aspects of the preparation, and definitely doing a song is not only you. You have also some other people to bring on board, to make everything to work well. There are sometimes that you might have finished, preparing on your own part, and maybe the other party that you're expecting to put in his or her effort, is not really meeting up to par with what you have done. It sometimes will slow down, the work of, that particular song. So that's one of the little challenges. I know sometimes also you might have finished maybe practicing, maybe rehearsing a song, and something will just happen. Maybe the person that you needs to maybe back you up as an agent call and it's not showing up. So definitely you have to quickly,
make a fresh arrangement.
A fresh arrangement on it. So that's one of the little challenges.
Now, let's talk about situations that most musicians, ministers go through, especially in a country like Nigeria. Aside from being a minister, aside from being an artist, are there other things you do, and how do you combine all this together?
Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm into other businesses. So, and definitely those businesses too will demand my time, but God is helping me, to be able to do them together with the music, and being an entrepreneur, well, it gives me time, because sometimes not every time that you'll be busy. So the less time that you have, you quickly use it to do music. So at least I just try to balance it up together. So that's what I do, balancing up my business and the music together.
So how do you keep your spiritual life intact with the demands of public ministry?
Yeah, God. God is just the ultimate in everything. So I go to God, and apart from that also, I have men of God I listen to. I follow a lot of men of God who I know. God has helped them through their ministerial journey. So, listening to their tapes, listening to some of their quotes, also helps in strengthening me. Because when you hear those words from them, the Bible says faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word of God. So when you constantly hear the word of God, it helps in keeping you in the right position that you need to be as a child of God, wherever you find yourself. So those are the things I do.
All right, the show is still The Big Story right here on Daybreak Live, extra on Dominion Television, your channel of choice where inspiration meets entertainment. Now we go on a short break. And of course, when we return, The Big Story continues right here on Dominion Television. We'll be back after this time out. All right, welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live Extra on Dominion Television. And of course, this is The Big Story. You can keep the conversation going. Link up with us on all social media platforms. On Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, it is at Dominion Broadcast. On the X, formerly Twitter, it is at Dominion Cast. You can also watch us live on our website, www.dominion.org.ng. Now, the show continues. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever faced criticism, and how did you handle it in faith?
Criticism is, well, it's just a part of, the life of a gospel minister. Because if you don't want to be criticized, you will not even want to be successful in the first place. So it's part of it, And whenever it happens that way, you just look beyond it. You look beyond it, and because you are focused, you know your aim, and you know the reason why you are doing what you are doing. So you look beyond. A lot of times you even try to, even if it hurts, you try to forgive the person or the individual that is involved, because you know that beyond all that, there is a purpose. There is a reason where God has placed you, where He has placed you. So you look beyond it, and you focus on God, because you know that God is your ultimate. So when you focus on God, that at the back of your mind will not make that criticism to distract you. So it will make you to keep going, because you know that there's a reason why God has called you into what you're doing.
Okay, are there powerful testimonies from people who have been touched by your music, your sound, or ministration?
Yeah, there are testimonies. I can remember one of my friends, she told me that one of our daughters, loved one of my songs, that she could even sing it from the beginning
to Z.
to the end. So, testimonies like that, it's an encouragement. And sometimes also when people tell you that, oh, this particular line of the song, has really been a blessing to me. And even there was even one of my songs that when I did it, I was not even planning yet to do a video for that song. Somebody said, no, that song is a very powerful song. Please, you have to just make a video of that song. Things like that, it's an encouragement, to what you are doing.
All right, let me ask you this. How long have you been doing music?
Well, doing music, I can, like what I said, that it was since the primary school days, but doing it, professionally. I can say I started professionally in 2019. That was when I released my first album. So that was when I started.
Now, you have had projects, you have released songs, you have, had an album or albums, if I may put it that way. Now, when did you, how many projects do you currently have?
For now, I have 2 coming up, because I just finished one last month.
Okay. So you have not released that one?
No, I've released that one.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have, like, for next month, I have one, which I'm presently working on. Yeah, it's a praise medley. So, and by the grace of God, I'm planning to release that one before the end of next month.
Some people do just worship, some people do praises, some people blend the two together. So your genre of music, how does it, how do you try to pass a message across to both the Gen Zs out there, the adults out there? They call them, I don't know, what do they call them? But then they have a name they call each generation.
Yeah,
I'll get to that, I'll remember.
Yeah, I do worship. I also do praise.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mix the two together, but majorly I major in more of worship songs. More of worship songs, but I do the others too.
So since you do just more of worship, if you get to have an event and they say, oh, we have a naming ceremony, a wedding ceremony, do you go out there to do?
Yeah, I've even done that before. Like, when there was one time one of our church members was having a birthday, and she said, okay, well, she wants me to just feature for some minutes there. So which I did. I was there to lead the praise, for some minutes there. Yeah, so I do. So
you also have some projects lined up for later times.
Yeah.
So let me now ask you this question. People do this a lot of times. I spoke to an artist recently and said, I have enough songs to last me for the next 10 years, which I have written and they are in my house. Unfortunately, I was in that area. He brought out a Ghana Must Go, exercise books, songs written, choruses, verses, everything intact. He only said, all I have to do if I want to produce an album, I just pick an exercise book and that's it. So I asked him, how do you get to sit down and make all these things? Do you also follow such trends too? You have songs that you are not even ready to produce and you have just prepared them.
Yes. Songs come. Like, for me, songs comes on their own. So when they come, either you record them, with your phone, or you write some of them down. So when they come down, you can't stop songs from coming when God inspires you, when the inspiration comes. So that's one of the things I do. Sometimes when the songs come, I try to record them and later work on those songs. So I have some songs. In fact, I have some songs that I can even say, well, maybe for the next, maybe from some years, I will definitely be having songs that I'll be working on. They're already there.
So do you also do mentorship? You have young girls, young guys who also want to succeed in the music industry and they are like, oh, this is my role model.
Yes, I have, because even some people even walk up to you to ask for advice. Some people walk up to you and tell you that, okay, they like what you are doing and they want you to advise them. So I have some few that I mentor, I talk to, about, how to progress in their own music ministry too. So
while growing up, who did you idolize as a role model? I want to be like so person when I grow up. I've seen people say, oh, it's evangelist Bolare. Some said it is Fumi Aragbaye. They've had so many names and they'll be like, this is how I want to model my. But then afterwards, when they realized, oh, I think I can do something different, they decided to maybe tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, when I was growing up, I used to listen to Mama Bolare very well. Evangelist Fumi Aragbaye too. Yeah, those were the. So I used to listen to Mama Bolare, Mama Fumi Aragbaye. Yes, I love their music so much. Yeah, when I was growing up, and later, like Zinach also, CC Winers, they are one of my, at least out of many of my mentors who I look up to. Yeah.
All right. Do you have any relationship with other successful gospel acts out there?
Yeah, few of them. Yeah, few of them. Definitely in the music ministry, you can't do it on alone. You need to rub minds together with those who have gone ahead of you. So I have relationship with few of them. Yeah. And
are there plans that sometime you might decide to do a collaboration? Like there's a song trending, I Can Never Go Back. Oh no, it's just a fusion of Gaze Baba and
Lawrence Oyo.
They came together and made something really magnificent. Yeah. It's sound that has brought so many young minds back to Christ. So it's something really new that not too many people have really witnessed before. So do you have plans for something similar in the future?
Yeah, if it happens, there's nothing bad about it. Yeah, I have plans for that too.
So if you would choose one person to actually work with tomorrow, who would that be?
That one person, not two.
One person that you would love to work with.
That would be Zinach.
Interesting. So how important is mentorship in gospel music? And I asked earlier that do you have mentors? Of course, you mentioned them. But how important is it to go through mentorship?
It's important because, when you learn from those who have gone ahead of you, as I've said earlier before, there are mistakes, you will not make the same mistake. So that is the essence of mentorship. It's a guide for you. And it's all there are a lot of wisdom, you get from your mentors. God used them to guide you, to teach you. Sometimes you need to be patient, on some things. Sometimes you need to be silent on some issues. When you look at the life of your mentors and you look at the way they handle some issues about their life and ministry, it's a guide for you. So you can't do without mentors if you really want to go far and fast in life, because they have gone ahead and you are coming behind, and you listening to them, you watching them will help you as you are moving also in your home path.
Now, some people have broken the shackles of gospel artists having to wait for honorarium before they can actually say, oh, I'm getting the dividend of what I've actually labored for over the years. People like Dosi Oyeko, they've had massive streams on all channels, YouTube, on all other streaming apps. And of course, recently, Gaze Baba showed everyone that, look, even as a gospel act, you can always smile to the bank at the end of each month or each week and say, look, this is what I have actually gotten from my streams on some other platforms. So now, how important is it to actually look at the business side of the game, even when you are a gospel act and, of course, it's a ministration?
Yeah, it's good to look at the business side of the ministry, because definitely you are on earth. So even if you are doing something spiritual, you are still doing it here on earth. And there are a lot of things that surround whatever you are doing. To make that thing happen, you need some other resources to make it happen. So that's why you have to look at the business aspect of it. So when it's coming, you will not say you don't want it. So that's just, you have to look at it, how to, blend the two together. So as you are doing it spiritually, you are also getting, the dividend of what you are doing, physically, which is okay.
Okay, a respected cleric in Ibadan made a statement recently that churches should look inward instead of paying so much to bring in gospel acts for their events, adult harvests, children harvests. They should look inward and maybe probably pay their choir members to do the job. What would you say about that? Is that a discouragement? And someone replied and said, if your wife is a gospel act who relies so much on these funds and of course brings part of this money home, would you have made the same statement?
Well, I think that is why we have to look ahead in whatever we are doing. And we have to be prepared for unforeseen circumstances. That's just it. So whether you are called, to come and minister, and you are paid, or whether you are not, you should have a way of sustaining yourself as a gospel artist. I don't believe that you have to make your dependence to be solely
on the job of being a musician.
Being a musician. You don't have to make it to be solely on that. So I believe that you have to, that's why you have to, to strategize and know the best way, before the ministry, you have your life first of all. So you have to look for ways in which you can sustain yourself, even outside what is coming in from the gospel, proceed or whatever. Yeah.
So what's your take on, gospel acts taking honorarium from churches? Some say it is an aberration, it shouldn't happen. Some say, what do you expect gospel acts to actually feed on if you expect them to come and do this for free?
Well, I think maybe paying them or not paying them, it's a personal thing for everybody. Some people believe that, well, they want to pay. And if they don't pay, I believe God will take care of the individual. God is our source, and He knows how to take care of us. So whether they pay you or they don't pay you, you are not depending on them. You are depending on God. And if God has called you, He knows how to take care of you. That's just what I believe. So whether the honorarium is coming or whether it's not coming, God knows how to sustain you as His child. So depend on God instead of you depending on people. So if it comes, good. And if it doesn't come, you are okay.
Right. Okay. There are some who would say, for me to come perform in your church, you're going to pay me 2 million naira. They even charge, they want, I saw a receipt a few months ago of a gospel act who requested, he said he was coming with 23 of his, band members. He requested for hotel rooms for all of them, requested for so many things, and of course, it was to be paid in dollars. I think there is there were reports, and of course, there's a backlash. A popular cleric, also in Ibadan, posted that receipt and said, this is what I got from so-so artist. Now, what would you say about artists who will say, this is how much I want before I come to your church? Does it mean that when it comes, it's not going to be spiritual, it's strictly business, since it is transactional, or it is just, there's a way to look beyond that and just feel like, okay, gospel artists also deserve to be paid for services rendered?
Well, I believe gospel artists, they deserve to be paid. I think it's in this part of the world that we try to look at that aspect as if maybe it's an hot thing.
They call it Isheolua.
They call it so it has to be free or whatever. I think because definitely even for them to move from wherever they are to where you have called them to come and minister, definitely they will. It's not the spirit that will bring them. Their logistic will have to be taken care of and other things. So I don't think is a bad idea for them to be, to be paid, for coming to come and minister. And there are even some of them who decide that, well, they don't want to be paid. So if it all depends on the level of the individual, we have our level spiritually, and this has to do with your growth in Christ. When you have gone to a certain level, you believe that, well, this will be sorted out by God. So if I don't believe that we have to, maybe judge them by, saying that, okay, maybe those who want to be paid, maybe they are not spiritual, or maybe,
so regardless of if they were paid or not, it makes no difference.
Yeah, it makes no difference. I think it's just the individuals involved. So for the fact that they are being paid doesn't mean that they will not bless you. That's just it. So the way we individuals view things differs. Some people believe that, okay, well, God has called me. I believe he's going to take care of me. And they believe him for that. And some people believe, well, yeah, he has called me, but, you know, I still need, you know, a little
source of
income. Yeah. So I think it depends on the level actually that individual is working. So I don't think it's a bad idea.
Okay. Has there ever been a time you felt like, why am I even a gospel act? What am I doing here?
I can't really, no.
Okay, so when was the peak period where you felt like, well, I think I'm grateful I decided to be a gospel act?
I think the joy I have every time whenever I have the opportunity to sing, for me as an individual, it's a privilege for me. It's what I celebrate every time. You know, I love in celebrating the little moments. I don't wait until when, maybe, okay, until when this big thing happened before I will be happy or fulfilled. I believe in little fulfillment. You know, when God gives you the opportunity to do something that you love doing and you have the opportunity to express yourself. You know, you're not the only person that God has called. There are some people who are even better than you are, but they don't have the opportunity to even express that gift that God has given to them. So to me, those opportunity I have, anytime I have the opportunity, you know, to sing, even sometimes it could be in the comfort of my home, you know, just to praise God, to appreciate him. Those opportunities, I cherish them every time.
So tell us one thing that people don't know about Elizabeth Ishola.
Oh, yeah, one thing
people don't know
about me, I'm a little bit jovial.
Okay.
When I'm in my relaxed mood, and I laugh, but I love to laugh so much that even I could remember when I was young, one of my uncles used to call me laughing gas. That when I'm laughing, my life is contagious. You know, that even without even telling what is happening, you start laughing. So that's one of the few things people don't know about me.
Okay, you've made you have projects that are out there. So you are going to do one of these songs for us, and of course you will tell us your albums, the titles, and where we can, viewers can actually find them.
Okay, okay. Let me do. Doors Are Opened. All my songs are on YouTube, on my own YouTube channel. So let me do Doors Are Open. You know, one out of the others. Okay. Doors are opened. Ilẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ mi ti ṣí. Mo ń wọnú ògo lọ. It is my season. Doors are opened. Ilẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ mi ti ṣí. Mo ń wọnú ògo lọ. It is my season.
This is actually Doors Are Opened.
Yeah.
You have other ones too.
Yeah, I have I'm Seated with Christ.
I'm Seated with Christ.
Yeah. Then I have You Are Awesome.
Okay.
Then I have You Are Jehovah. Then I have Almighty Father.
Okay.
Then I also have okay, Elroy.
All right.
Yes.
Is there still a project you are expecting to put out there soon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm working on another single, which is titled God of Wonders. Yeah, so I'm working on that and to be released very soon by the grace of God.
Okay, very quickly before we go. Now, as an entrepreneur and of course a mother, a gospel act, how does it affect your role as a mother?
I try to balance it up.
Okay.
That's what I try to do. I try to balance it up and try to create time. Yes, if you're not very careful, you might be so much engrossed in one. And then yeah. So you have to make sure that there's
a balance.
Yeah, there's a balance so that those aspects will not suffer. So
all right. So the YouTube channel where they will find out those projects you talked about.
It's Elizabeth Farrell Ishola.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We say a very big thank you to you for joining us in the studio this morning.
Thank you.
It has been a wonderful session with you. And we do hope next time you will be here, of course, on this style. So thank you for coming.
Thanks so much
All
for
right.
having me.
It has been a wonderful session with Elizabeth Oluwatoyinshola, who is a gospel act, a mother, an entrepreneur, and of course, she's a deaconess. So in case you want to know. And that wraps up this soulful and thought-provoking edition of the Big Story on Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television. All right, we have seen that the journey from the altar to the stage isn't a compromise, it's a calling that demands wisdom, grace, discipline, and an unwavering focus on the one who gave the gift in the first place. Join us again next time as we scratch beyond the surface and bring you the stories that matter. Until then, keep the faith, keep staying inspired, and remember, you can serve God with your voice and your verse. I am Samson Balogun, and this is Dominion Television, redefining your morning. This is Daybreak Live Extra. Now we'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll go straight to Trend Watch on this dial this morning. We'll be back after this time out.